Hello everyone, this is Demia Avery in conjunction with ConnectCapeFear.com. We have a lovely lady here with us today. We want to welcome Maggie Levy of 7Pillars Bookkeeping Solutions. Welcome.
Hey, thank you. Grateful to be here.
Awesome. So tell everyone that's listening, tell us more about you, tell us more about the service that you offer.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm originally from upstate New York, Syracuse, New York. I started my career in my early 20s doing sales and a mix of financial as well too. And once I got my business degree, then I kind of was able to learn more about the financial field and really enjoyed the sales and the financial, but I always found myself in these dual roles. Like I was selling cars and doing inside sales, but then I'd do payroll and take the money to the bank. Yeah. And so probably around 2010, 2011, just kind of had a fork in the road and didn't want to do sales anymore and really just focus on my accounting career. And so I really dove into that and really just worked myself up all the way from a billing contracts manager into a accounts payable, receivable manager, bookkeeping office manager, all the way to a chief financial officer. And really gave me the opportunity to get 2 feet into accounting and get some good experience.
Awesome. Now I love the name 7Pillars Bookkeeping Solutions, and the 7 pillars. Where does that actually come from?
Yeah, great question. So 2021, I had my last child. And so that was the position I was in, this chief financial officer position, had the child. And there was a lot of things going on at that time, a lot of family dynamics. At the same time, a lot of women changes, right, kind of going on as well too. And I just wasn't able to keep up, with the position anymore. And I was let go. And so it was kind of, that situation that happens in our lives, and we always ask, okay, what's next? Yeah. And so for me, there was a lot of revelation, a lot of reflection during that time. And I have a 24-year-old daughter. Okay. And at that time, maybe about 6 months prior to that, she said, "Hey, Ma, would you ever want to open up your own bookkeeping business?" And I said, "Oh, sweetheart, I have like octopus arms. I could add another thing, to the plate." Well, interesting enough, you ever have something that kind of just keeps coming back to your mind or into your spirit? And so as a born-again Christian, in December, I said, you know what, I'm going to put that thought to prayer. And I did, and then January of 22, 7 Pillars was born out of Proverbs 9.
I love that. Yeah. I love that. With your business, I love that you mentioned the whole born-again Christian thing. So does that help you in any way, like with your clients, like having I don't even know if it's more like faith-based or just having that warm sense of something, because you definitely have a warm personality. Yeah, does that help you with your customers, you think?
Absolutely. One thing that I've learned in my walk is that things happen in the spiritual realm, whether we believe it or not. Okay, things happen in the spiritual realm, and so because of my relationship with the Lord, I'm able to just be genuine. I'm still the same person, but at the same time, there's a lot of transformation that takes place, right? A lot of revelation, learning more about myself, things that I could do better. And what better to be connected with my Creator that can show me more of myself so I can be better with my clients. Yeah. Integrity is huge to me. Yeah. And then just being, transparent. I have some experience in the restaurant industry, in the contractor industry. So when I meet these clients that are in that field, hey, there's some relatability. Right. Their nerves can kind of calm down a little bit and say, listen, you are not the only one. Yeah. Let's just take a step back. Let's walk through this step by step. Having grace, I think grace is huge with clients because they're busy. And a lot of times they think they're inconveniencing you. And I said, no, we're okay. Yeah. I have a lot of grace I can give and be able to walk you through it.
I love that. And that means a lot, whatever religion you are or whatever that your beliefs are, the core values in that is definitely trust, grace, and just being able to be in the customer's shoes and identify with them. So that's a wonderful thing to have.
Absolutely. Yeah, great.
So let's talk a little bit more about the business. So what type of, do you just help individuals or do you help corporations as well?
So I only help businesses. I don't do any individual bookkeeping.
Okay.
So I do help all businesses with a specialty in contractors, construction, and restaurants increase their revenue about $48,000 a year by taking bookkeeping off their plate.
Okay.
In addition, I provide CFO Advisory Services and financial consulting using QuickBooks across the U.S. only. So I don't do any international businesses, just in the U.S.
Got it. And what type of services do you actually offer the customer?
Yeah, absolutely. So we offer full service bookkeeping, everything from categorizing transactions, invoicing, bill pay, sales tax, payroll services, tax prep. So we do not offer any tax filing. So I'm not a certified CPA or anybody on my team, but tax prep is key. You know, really gathering like equipment, making sure you're getting a depreciation expense, mileage reports, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, those are the basic services.
Now, do you ever get people when they call in and they really want to get to know what type of technology you use? You know, whether it's QuickBooks or security services, do you get people calling in and asking that information from you?
Yes. Usually during the consultation or if they're filling out the form, you know, on my calendar link. So most clients already use QuickBooks or want to use QuickBooks. I do have a couple that don't. So I can definitely work with whatever system that you have or third-party software. Most third-party softwares are pretty similar. It's just knowing where the button is, you know, to get the report or categorize the transactions. But QuickBooks is my main platform, and I'm a QuickBooks Pro Advisor. So I'm certified through QuickBooks.
Now, what about this whole AI thing? Because AI is everything right now. So do you all work with AI in any way?
Yeah, absolutely. So QuickBooks has kind of already used AI in some ways. We just didn't call it that.
Yeah.
You can categorize transactions once it comes into the QuickBooks, and it kind of already tells you, or it'll make a suggestion like, hey, can we put it into gas, or can we put it into supplies? And you can just click a button and say yes or add or match. So now that AI is really taking waves, starting at June 1st, they're going to be introducing what's called AI agents.
Okay.
And so what those agents are going to do is really make our processes a little bit faster, a little bit more mainstream. So I'm really excited to kind of take that on.
Yeah.
And I use some other software in my agency too, like Monday.com. We use Slack, and then we're going to be integrating Keeper. So it's like a task management AI system. So I'm already integrating some of that in my business.
Love that.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna get in your business just a little bit.
Yeah, let's do it. Go
Okay.
for it.
So I'm a big believer in testimonies.
Okay.
So if you could think of a time or a customer or anything like that where your services have benefited them, and if you don't mind sharing with us.
Absolutely. Gosh, I have quite a bit of reviews on my website and Google My Business and my QuickBooks Pro Advisor. So two that stand out, it's on my website as well too. There's a doctor's office, you know, saying locally, that just really were grateful for my services, because really what I do is I help all business owners solve the number one problem, which is their time. And I remember specifically with this client, the time for them was for her husband to spend time with the family, not be doing the books.
Yeah.
And so time can either be increase in revenue, right? Because every time you sit in front of that computer, you're losing money. You could be getting another job or going out into the field, or you're losing time with family, hobbies, loved ones. So it's precious. You know, that time is priceless to everybody. And so I remember specifically the time that he was spending, oh gosh, maybe 5 to 10 hours a month, or maybe a little bit more. And so once I was able to take on the bookkeeping, walk through the process, they're still excited today. You know, she always tells me, oh, I'm so glad that he's around more, we can do family activities, and he's not stuck behind the computer. So
Well, I wanted to ask, I'm glad you mentioned that, because do you ever get people that come to you that have a lot of anxiety? Maybe like me, I am not the greatest at, I have someone organizing my stuff. But do you have people that's not quite so super duper organized with financials and things like that, do you find they have like anxiety coming to you, like not wanting to show you what they have?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
At least 9 out of 10, maybe 10 out of 10. You know, they kind of feel like a little bit embarrassed, or, oh, I know I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm doing it. And so one thing I just kind of remind them, listen, you're not the only one. It's okay. You know, this is a safe place. Don't feel embarrassed. You know, I used to run a business with a business partner, so that was the first thing, you know, even for me as learning as a business owner, I used to put receipts in an envelope, you know, as I was learning to use the QuickBooks a little bit more and how to put it in. So there's some relatability, you know, as well too. So once I kind of break the ice on that, then they're like, okay, all right, that's not bad. And then I just let them like, listen, this is the beginning, but watch, as we get everything organized, then you're going to have a better ending. So
now keeping up with that same thing, do you ever have people may not be, because they're trusting you with all of their finances, so do you ever get people that maybe just a little maybe not trustful, or you know, maybe like, okay, you know, she's going to see everything I have.
Yes.
You know, do you find people coming to you like that as
Absolutely. Well? Majority, you know, I wouldn't say everybody, depending if they've already worked with a bookkeeper, so then they kind of already know the process. But mostly with the ones that haven't worked with a bookkeeper, it's kind of letting someone inside your home. You know, the financials is like opening the door and say, okay, you can come in, I'll show you the living room a little bit and clean it up. You can come into the kitchen, but give me a minute, let me get the bathroom ready, you know, stuff like that. So really, I just let them know, you know, some of my own, you know, personal relatability experiences. I do have a proposal process, you know, where, okay, everything that we talk about during the consultation, you can see it on paper, and they sign a contract. And so that kind of gives a little bit more peace of mind too. So if things happen to go south, you know, there's some legalities in there. We both sign the contract, we agree. And so in there just basically states, you know, confidentiality, you know, in that as well too. And so they're a little bit better. They're a little bit better with that.
I bring that up because I want to bring up some of the anxieties that people have, or the misconceptions that people have, you know, when they come to see a bookkeeper. And so that, you know, you guys would be able to get a warm person to help you, and that can identify with you, and then you don't feel so either embarrassed or rigid, you know, so
absolutely.
I bring that up for that for sure. Now, if a person wanted to become a client of yours, what's the process of them doing that?
Absolutely. So if you're just curious of what it's like to work with a bookkeeper, you know, what's the price, you know, what's the value, what are you going to get, you know what I'm saying, for your dollar, I will I highly recommend go to my Calendly link to book a time. There's going to be a series of 8 questions in there just to kind of help prepare for the meeting, get a little bit idea of what is it that you're looking for, what kind of help that you might need, and then I can better direct the conversation, you know, when we meet. I'm sure we'll have the link, you know what I'm saying, for them when for it, you know, in the program. So then there, or the website, they can go to my website and be able to book it there as well too.
Awesome. Now, ConnectCapeFear.com is a huge advocate for working in the community. So do you do anything for the community? Do you work with others? How does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do a few things. One, I volunteer some time with the Habitat for Humanity, the Cape Fear Habitat for Humanity program. Because I work with contractors, my grandfather was a carpenter growing up. So I just kind of have a heart, you know, for that field. And so I've volunteered there, you know, a few times. I'm also a BNI chapter member. So I'm the Treasury Secretary there for a BNI chapter. And also do some presentations for the college as well too, the Cape Fear Community College. So I'll be doing presentations for them on bookkeeping, and then I do it for the Edgecombe Community College as well too.
Very good. So if someone wanted to reach out to you, or they wanted to go to your social media or whatever, you know, pages that you have out there, you mind shouting that out to them so they can find you?
So follow me on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn as Problem Solving Bookkeeper. And then you can also follow me on my website, or find me on my website, which is www.viipillarssllc.com.
Now, you do have some other things going on besides.
I do.
Okay, so tell us about those other things. We wanted to make sure I get that in there. Okay.
I appreciate it. So, with any business, there's always, goals that you have and things that you want to grow and be able to bring value, to your audience. So I recently just launched an ebook for restaurateurs and food vendors. So we'll have the link for them, on that as well too. I do have Facebook ads running on that, so that's really exciting. That you can get the ebook, and then you get 2 free templates that go along with it. At the same time, next couple months, looking to launch my podcast regarding bookkeeping. Awesome. So it'll be a little bit different. I won't really be interviewing. People will be on it, and you'll be interviewing them to a certain extent, but we're going to be solving bookkeeping problems. So
that's what we need right there.
Yeah, absolutely. So follow me on social media for that. And then I'm just doing more presentations. I'll be looking to speak more in groups regarding bookkeeping and speaking engagements. So if you follow me on social media, you'll know where I'm at.
Awesome. So we're going to have all her links, guys. So I'll make sure you go to each and every one of those links. Please go ahead and support Maggie Levy. And we are out of here for today.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.